Next news, 11 convicted for harassing French atheist teen over anti-Islam views. So a lot of you guys have been, for the past several years, following the story of the campaign was called Je suis Mila. And this is kind of a little bit of a conclusion to it. On June 7th, a French court convicted 11 out of 13 accused of cyberbullying a French lesbian teenager, Mila, over her views against Islam on social media. She started posting videos regarding her opinions and critique of Islam when she was 16. Since her video went viral, Mila has received over 10,000 threatening messages, including death threats, sexual assault threats, misogynistic comments, and even hate comments towards her sexual orientation. She was forced to change schools multiple times and received police protection due to the severity of the harassment she endured. And she had posted so this kind of is a little bit of context. She had posted a video containing comments that would be deemed highly offensive to practicing Muslims in response to a boy who abused her in the name of Allah. Meaning like verbally abused. Later, she became a public figure in France as a symbol of free speech. The trial caught public awareness for being the first conviction of a cyberbullying case. So not only is this substantial in terms of the charges brought against these people, but also in terms of setting some precedents in terms of cyber security law in France, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I support this.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Good. Yes. Good. I mean, I don't know. Hey, maybe if I knew the details, I would be like, why it took so long? But just surface level looking at this is good. Rivka, what do you think?
Oh, I absolutely support it. I mean, this is actually great that this happened, because now there's precedent if people cyberbully other people, threaten other people. And I think that we've seen some of these in other countries. I know in the United States and some other places where people have been held accountable, by the law for making threats on social media, not just, maybe what they used to, sending letters or making threats over the telephone or something. So it's a very similar thing. And the fact that they also demonstrated such damages to her. It's not, sometimes people bully you and there isn't necessarily such severe damages that you undergo. It's not such a burden to deal with it. The moving, all these, having to have the French police protect her. This is a cost.
As a teenager, as a child, she had to relocate multiple times throughout her high school years. Like, this is your developmental formative period.
That's
just
what
like
I mean.
Gone.
It's severe emotional damage, as well as the cost, not only to her and her family, but to the French government in terms of the protection that she has to receive because of these threatening messages and things like that, and these death threats. So bravo, France.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So 11 of the 13 accused were sentenced to suspended prison terms of 4 to 6 months and fined around $1,800 USD. And what's so interesting is that these were only a drop in the bucket of the people who went after her. Like, many of the others couldn't be found, right? But this is a statement from the judge saying social networks are the street. When you pass someone in the street, you don't insult them, threaten them, make fun of them. What you do in the street, don't do in social media. And Mila said, I was expecting worse. And honestly, we won and will win again, because what I want is that. United, we will never give up. We will continue to fight. She added, what I want is that those who harass to be considered a plague and ought to be forbidden access to social networks. Those who cyberbully, threaten with death, deprive one of their freedom, and incite one to suicide. I never want to see the victims blamed again. Because there were a lot of people who blamed her for what she experienced, because they said, you shouldn't have said that.
Right. They said that she was being deliberately provocative, and so therefore she, gets whatever the results of that are. But the thing is that the nation of France gives citizens the right to be provocative. You don't have to like it. But the other thing that Susanna was saying about how many hundreds of messages and that they were only able to convict 11, and the 13 that they brought charges on, and they were only able, I think that is because of the difficulty in having corroborating evidence to actually prove that this person was directing it, or where this account comes from, or so these are difficult cases to follow through from beginning to end with the burden of proof. But I mean, good for them that they were able to not only give her some recompense, but also let other people know that, this isn't going to fly anymore. You can't just do that. There are consequences.
So did Susie just say that the judge said that you don't get to make fun of people on social media? Wait, Susie, she's back. Hold on. Let me ask
He
her. when
did
she's
say
here.
that he was, but I think that he was
Oh, she's-
using that in terms of saying you threatening people on the street, that
No, but
or assault
okay,
is the threat. But he did use the words don't make fun of them.
okay, so Susie, can you clarify this? Did the judge just say that you don't get to make fun of people on social media? That was like, wait, what? Now I have
He's
something
mainly
to
talking
criticize.
in terms of etiquette. Like, treat social media like how you treat someone on the street. You don't insult, like, most
Wait,
days.
you're a
I'm
judge.
on
Don't
the
give
street.
me moral advice. Tell me what the law is. Like, I don't care what etiquette. Don't tell me what social media etiquette I'm supposed to follow. What is the law? Like, this
French
coming
are
from a
big
judge-
on etiquette and how you treat people in the street, though. So I'm not surprised
What?
that he would say that. The French are big on that.
I know,
How
but
you
coming
act
from a
in
judge,
public.
it seems like he's suggesting that this is like a law or something. I think, like, then I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping that in legal terms there is like a very clear red line between what is harassment. I am hoping like people telling
Absolutely.
you like hey, your religion is funny and I don't like it, or somebody coming to an atheist and like, oh, you're an atheist, you guys have no moral, don't go screw the next things you see because you don't have moral. Like, if somebody says me a comment like that, I hope like they don't like, oh, that's harassment and that's illegal. Like, I need like the harassment, like what counts as harassment shouldn't be like, hey, they just made fun of me on social media. Like, I'm hoping that the bar for what counts as harassment is very, like, people messaging you to go end your life or something like that. Maybe that's like where, or like, I'm gonna get you, watch your back. Like, that is harassment, okay? But me, like, people just making fun of each other, I hope that legally that doesn't get defined as harassment. Yeah, so, Rivka.
I'm sure the French government has a legal definition of what constitutes harassment and what doesn't. And, they're definitely maybe different than some other countries. So yes, they absolutely have a legal definition about what constitutes harassment. But when he was making this statement, I don't think that was part of his decision. I don't think that those sentences were necessarily, I could be wrong, what he wrote in the decision when he found for Mila and against these other defendants. I don't know. I think he was just making it as commentary, like Susanna said. Someone, it's unclear from the article whether, a reporter asked him and he just said that, or did he just sort of make a general statement? I don't believe that was necessarily written in the definition, but absolutely there's a clear definition of what harassment is, which is why they were only able to probably bring charges against a very small fraction of the people. As I said earlier, what can you prove? What fits the legal definition? Do you have the corroboration on this, et cetera, et cetera? And I think the fact that there were so many messages and only 11 were actually brought charges, 13 were brought charges, but 11 were actually sentenced, shows you there probably a lot of them did not meet perhaps the legal definition of harassment.
Very well put. Okay, this next news is so funny. It is so funny. It might it might be one of the funniest news we've covered in a
Okay,
while.
because I like how
Hey,
you
San
tell me, go ahead.
Miguel!
Before we go there, read
San
this
Miguel
one.
TV is saying some Black Hebrew Israelites accused me of harassment for showing up at their public preachings. Amazing. Guys, for those who don't know, San Miguel TV is an ex-Black Hebrew Israelite, and we had all three of us had an interview with him around this time last year. So just like look, Atheist Republic, Black Hebrew Israelite, if you want to learn all about that very interesting ideology, which is
And also,
hilarious that they told this to Miguel because of like he's so nice and the things they say to normal people on the streets. Like you have no right to be talking about street harassment.
Yes. By the way, Secular Rarity keeps mentioning how much on point Rivka is. Just wanted to highlight that.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.